Welcome to In the Know. I am your host, Tony Reeves. Now, in September of 2007, I made a huge decision to leave a job as an associate with a law firm and start my own law firm. Now, I'll be honest, I was terrified. I had worked for 6 years for this law firm. I had received a pay raise every year, so I was literally making more money than I'd ever seen. And also it was a job that was secure with great working conditions. So you're probably asking yourself the question, so why walk away from that? Well, to be real, I believed I could do it on my own. Some things that happened in my old job that had me wondering about my future. So I truly thought if there was ever a time to try, this was probably the best time. But there were some realities that I had to face really quickly. I had never run my own business. I didn't have a clue about what I was getting myself into. And even more so, I was fully aware of the fact that there were a lot of other lawyers who had started their own law firms, and this was just a normal occurrence. And I also knew there were countless examples of lawyers who crashed and burned as business owners. So I was petrified about whether I would be the same. And then there was the reality that I was the primary breadwinner of my household. So I was truly worried what going out on my own would mean to me as well as to my family. But let's be clear, these fears are not unique. Countless people are now in the position of having to decide if they should walk away from the life or job they have known and try something different. Which brings us to COVID-19 and the Great Resignation. COVID has really caused a lot of people globally to take a critical look at their personal circumstances and start asking themselves a critical question. Is now the time to make a serious move in changing your life circumstances? Which brings me to world-renowned personal and professional development coach, Georgia Woodbine. Ms. Woodbine is an award-winning entrepreneur who has authored several books on personal and professional development, as well as lectured in countless seminars, classes, and workshops throughout the U.S. In 2020, I interviewed her, and I want you to hear what she had to say about the impact of COVID and how it is shaping many people's decision-making.
I think it's definitely harder for people to walk away from that only because of what's going on right now. And honestly, what I think is going on is that this coronavirus has such a major impact on the world, leaving everyone wondering what's next. And really what's happening is we're having a global shift of everyone's consciousness level. You know, it's no more longer business as usual. And even though people might have that fear of walking away from something that they're not sure of the unknown, we're doing that right now. We're living in a situation where we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So what's the difference between the unknown of coronavirus and the unknown of making choices in your life? It's the same unknown. You know what I mean? You just don't know. But I think that because of this interruption of our daily living, it's really showing us as people how vulnerable we really are, and also at the same time how interconnected we are. So everyone right now is on the same plane level. It doesn't matter, you know, what your race is, what your gender is, what your culture is, what your religion is, what your income level is. Everybody is on one plane, feeling fearful of the unknown. So that's not going to go away.
Now again, for many people, the COVID pandemic has had some eerily similar economic impacts to the Great Recession of 2008. I asked Ms. Woodbine about the similarities and differences between those time periods. And listen to what she had to say about that.
Talk about the difference, though, in between. And the reason why I indicated before I was important to bring you back was to let people know that you have a context, because you knew what it was like during the Great Recession that we had in the early in 2008 and 2009. And now it feels like, even though the circumstances are different, that we're sliding into, with the coronavirus, kind of a similar type of circumstances. Based on your experience and talking to your clients and so forth, what have you noticed that are similar and what have you noticed that are distinctly different?
What's similar is definitely people fearing about losing income. That's similar. Some of the other similarities is people, feeling like they don't have control over their lives and the choices that they can make. That's some similarities. I think, though, there are some positives out of what's going on right now. And I know a lot of people are prone to think about, income, they're losing their income, or they don't have their job stability or things like that. But there are some positive things, because there are so many people across America right now that's having the opportunity to work from home, and they have never had that opportunity ever. So now with this new thing of people working from home because they can't go into the office, now they're spending more time with their families. Now they're doing things with their children. Now they're going for walks with their kids. Now they're talking to their family members. Now they're looking at life as more valuable and more precious, and time being more precious. So I think those are some of the differences when you talk about, just a recession opposed to a health crisis. It's really about the value of life. So it's not so much about the financial piece, which is a big piece of it, but it's more about taking time out to value those things that are most important to you and not take people for granted. So that's the differences I would see between now and the recession, being that this is a health crisis.
Thanks for tuning in to In the Know. Stay tuned for our next episode as we continue our series about COVID and the Great Resignation, and we have a further discussion with Coach Georgia Woodbine. Again, this is Tony Reeves, and as always, are you ready for the Anthony Reeves experience?